Hey everybody, my name's Jay Black. I'm a realtor here in Monterey, and today I am hanging out with Sarah, the owner of Axis Mundi Electrology. I said it right that time?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. Anyway, we're just hanging out here today in her little space in Pacific Grove. It's clean, very inviting space here. So, Sarah, tell us a little bit about Axis Mundi and what you do here.
I personally just do electrolysis, even though I'm licensed to do massage,
Okay.
hydrocolon therapy, and facials.
Okay.
So I've kind of done that a lot, but even in this space, and I've worked in the industry for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
I was the
Okay.
head facialist at Ventana for a while too.
Oh, cool. Cool. So now you said you do mostly electrolysis. What exactly is electrolysis?
It's permanent hair removal.
Okay.
It's the only thing so far that's been invented that's been a permanent solution for that.
Okay, so now everybody's heard permanent hair removal before. So
Yeah.
is it like permanent, like in a couple of years you got to do it again, or is it permanent like?
The average amount of time for an area is 20 times for like a thick, usually whisker. I'm just using that as an example. Or maybe a thinner hair on the lip would probably be less than that.
Okay.
But yeah, 20 times for a thick hair generally.
Okay. And then it lasts forever, or you like
Yes,
after,
until maybe your hormones change. Let's say if you get it when you're younger and then your hormones change a little bit, you might get a little bit more, hair, especially if you're a woman going through menopause or different hormone imbalances. You can have hair, but it's permanent as far as that particular hair that you had.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. So it's actually permanent. That's
a
little different.
Yeah, I mean and also your hair goes through layers. So for average 11 months, 2,400 hairs have to come out of a square inch, and they could be light, dark. We don't know. Everybody's different. So it depends on the person and the amount of hair they have. And
so that's why they come back so much, is because...
Well, they have to come back every 2 weeks, generally for a whisker to clear it the fastest.
Okay.
So if it, like you said, if it's a lighter hair on the lip, that would be like every 3 weeks.
Sure.
Because it's slower to grow out. But that's why it takes so much time, because you're getting rid of layers.
Okay. Cool. And so why the name Axis Mundi?
Well, my mom, she's a really avid studier of sacred geometry. And so sacred geometry was something which is kind of mathematics, but the meaning behind it.
Okay.
So there's I don't know if you know the visual of the flower of life. So it's like this
flower.
it looks like a bunch of flowers stuck together, but it has every mathematical configuration in that look. So it would bring a visual of an aesthetic with math together, which generally we don't learn in school necessarily, but the study does exist. And it was fascinating to me, because my mom would always talk about these subjects, and then she would have sort of these names of things, and that just sort of stood out. I liked Axis.
It kind of brings your mom into it a little bit too, then.
Oh,
right?
yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. Both of my parents are visual artists, but my mom can be very intellectual with esoteric knowledge. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And why did you decide? So I mean, you've done, like you said, aesthetic type stuff for 25 years. Why did you decide you wanted to do, one, electrology, and two, why did you decide to get into aesthetics in general?
When I was young, I would break out. But my parent, I think when I was in my, teen years, going through puberty, my skin would react easy. And I made that connection of diet and skin early, because my parents were really into alternative diets, and sometimes we were macrobiotic or we were vegan. My dad, got into raw before it was even popular. And so he told me to start drinking wheatgrass and not eating sugar. And even I think I started fasting when I was in sixth grade. So I cleared it up. I realized the connection. And then ever since then, I was very, very interested in the connection between whether diet or medicine, alternative medicine, what they call alternative, but it's really ancient, cleansing, and the skin, which I think is more popular now. I was always amazed that people even knew what wheatgrass was, because that became I don't know, a common thing in Jamba juices
yeah.
all over the
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
I was always just amazed that people would even know what it was because I thought we were just so weird and so hippie,
Okay.
and nobody was gonna find out. But I learned early how the aesthetic is connected to health
Okay.
or cleansing or I don't know the skin.
Okay.
So my first passion was skin, and that led me to getting an esthetician license. And started working in Big Sur, which was it was a better environment for me to be able to talk
Okay.
about more alternative diets and
Okay.
that kind of homeopathy and all that kind of stuff.
Sure,
So.
sure.
And then it became really, really popular to do facials. So I like the novelty of doing things most people don't know how to do.
Okay.
So electrology was kind of there because not only was there a school here, but I had somebody work on my sideburns because I was starting to get some sort of whiskery stuff and they got rid of it. And I was like, I bet more women especially have this problem because we don't talk about it, but it turned out I was right. And so first line in business is supply and demand.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
the demand was huge.
Yeah, well, good. Okay. No, that makes sense. And what surprised you most since you started electrology?
Surprised. I guess I was surprised that it was harder than I thought, but then it was really rewarding. I remember when I got into doing facials, I didn't like the extractions as much, and then it turned out to be my favorite thing in the end because I like the mastery of something, and I like the fact I can permanently change something for the better. So that could psychologically help, especially a lot of women that dealt with a lot of facial hair. It just felt like I helped change their lives.
And what would your customers say they like best about Axis Mundi?
They like the fact that it's not too clinical feeling.
Okay.
Clean, but not, where I like that I can make them feel at home. And I think a lot of it has to do with my personality and because I've worked in the spa industry for a long time. I like the umbrella of the spa industry because you can sort of have that sort of connection that's very personable.
Sure.
So I tried to create a more, I don't know, artsy / not too hippie, but not too clinical. Sort of this sort of glamorous, but earthy yet chic sort of. That's sort of my vision.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And Victorians, I think, are just beautiful. I remember I lived in Mendocino when I was young, and I just liked the fact all these businesses that were made in Victorians. It had a California flair, and yet it felt, I don't know, kind of homey but interesting than sort of the mid-century boxes you walk in that,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And this is a very comfortable space for sure. Thanks. Yeah. What is your favorite part about being a member of the Monterey Peninsula community?
Well, I moved here when I was 20.
Okay.
And I had moved over 100 times growing up.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even kidding. I went to 10 different schools, 10 different high schools, 48 different schools altogether.
Wow.
And so we moved a lot. And when I got to the peninsula, I made it my community. And I made it my home base. And I find it really beautiful here by the ocean. I've been out there. I've seen the world. So there's very few places that had that combination of kind of not too small of a town, but not too hard-edged of a city. Yeah. It has a lot of internationals. I think we have 60% of languages taught here in the country. And so I'd lived in Europe, so that kind of element, it had all the elements that I wanted, and also being able to live here without my family. Most of them are not from Idaho. So when I got here, I just sort of dug in and just built my life around it. And I like what I created. I mean, I like getting to know people because I didn't get to know people when I was little. So a lot of people do the opposite. They grow up somewhere and then they move away. I did the opposite. I moved everywhere and then I stayed.
Good deal. Good deal. You got your traveling fix when you were young.
Oh, yeah. And then my mom's lived in 10 countries, so it's not like I don't have that little I can just leave and visit her if I want to have that, exposure or something. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I made this my home. My Axis Mundi.
Your Axis Mundi. Absolutely. No, good deal. Good deal. Alrighty. Well, is there anything else that everybody should know about Axis Mundi?
I don't know.
We pretty well covered it, huh?
I think we covered it.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, by all means, look her up. I'll include her contact information in the show notes here, and or in the description. Sorry, show notes is podcast, but in the description. And we'll look her up, see what she does. Check this place out. We're at 222 17th Street in Pacific Grove, and yeah, they've got all kinds of stuff here: hair salon, acupuncture, pretty much anything you need as far as the holistic end of things goes. You've got it right here. So
yeah, one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Oh, and 222 is an angel number. That means it's going to be okay. We're going to make it. We don't know how.
Man, you just found the perfect spot for you, didn't you? Yeah, that's great. Good deal. Good deal. That's awesome. Alrighty, well, thanks for joining me.
All right.
I've really enjoyed it, and thanks everybody for watching.